Hi, my name is Joshua. Along with my partner Adrian, we are going to talk about what is genetic algorithm. But first, before we talk about genetic algorithm, let's have this problem first. You want to go on a trip and you have a backpack. You can only bring 3 kilograms of hand luggage. You can choose between the following: a laptop, headphones, a coffee mug, water bottle, and a notepad. Between the items, what is the optimal weight or items that you want to bring as a hand luggage? You can pause the video to compute it. Have you got the answers already? Now, the answer would be laptop, headphones, coffee mug, a water bottle with a weight of 2.9 kilograms. Our brain is really good when finding the best solution when it comes to a small number of items. For a computer, this is easy as well, even with the naive implementation of just trying out every possible combinations. Now, going back to the problem, in 5 items, we achieve 32 combinations itself. And my laptop can do this in about 3 microseconds. Now, going back to the knapsack problem, what do you think is the correct solution now? Now, the correct solution would be this. I'm not sure if I have the patience to figure it out, but my laptop would only need 800 microseconds, which is a whopping 269 times longer for a 1024 combination. Now, with 20 items, it already took 1 second and the combination rose to 1,048,576. Now, take a look at this. What if we have 21 items? It took 2,097,152 combinations, and we have almost 2 seconds to figure this out. And what if we have 22 items? It has 4,194,304 combinations with a whopping almost 4 seconds, and so on and so forth. Now, here's the graph to show it visually. Seeing the graph with some number, not only you won't miss your flight, but life itself or the world itself will be gone. To be precise, only 77 items are enough to occupy my laptop for 5 billion years, imagine that, before it comes with a solution. Now you might think there is more efficient or an intelligent way to come up with this. I assure you there is. But one thing won't change. The time to get the right solution rises exponentially with the number of items we have. To wrap up here, the problem that we had was the knapsack problem, which has been studied for more than a century and humanity doesn't know if there is an algorithm good enough to solve it efficiently, especially when the number of items and the weight capacity of the knapsack are large. This is one of the largest questions in computer science. Now, if you're curious, the problem is called P versus NP problem. In computer science, this problem is a question of whether every problem whose solution can be verified efficiently by a computer can also be solved efficiently by a computer. In more detail, the P in P versus NP problem refers to a class problem called P problems, which are problems that can be solved efficiently by a computer. The NP in P versus NP refers to a class of problems called NP problems, which are problems for which it is easy to verify a solution, but it is not known whether these problems can be solved efficiently by a computer. But what does it all have to do with the evolution of my computer? Now let's talk about what is genetic algorithm. It can be used to generate solutions for problems for which we have no way to calculate a solution. And this is what we read right now. Genetic algorithms are part of a bigger group called evolutionary algorithm. And they use natural selection to approximate solution for a given problem. Now, how does it work? Genetic algorithm uses a population of possible solutions. In our case, it'll be the combination of our items. Each specimen in our population has a genome that encodes a solution. It is a binary encoding of the content of our backpack. The ones says this item is inside of our backpack. If it's 0, it's left out. The set of all current solution in a given point during the algorithm is called the generation. Generation 0, the starting generation, is just a random mess of solutions. So we start the evolutionary process with complete chaos. Now, we start the process of natural selection to simulate the survival of the fittest. We use a fitness function to determine how good the solution is. In our case, the fitness function returns the value of the packed items as long as it fit the weight limit. If the weight limit exceeds the function, the specimen would be 0. After that, we will select the parents for the next generation of the solution. Generally speaking, a solution with a higher fitness score is more likely selected for a production unlike to the lowest or the low fitness score. We choose two parents and cut their genome in a random spot in half and switch the ending. This is what we call a single point crossover, and it generates two solutions for the next generation. We repeat the process as long as we don't have enough specimen for the next generation. If you notice how, by crossing two solutions, we got a better one, I find it really incredible because natural selections not only works in nature but even simulated in a computer. It generates better solution from generation to generation. But there is one thing to note here. Because the selection and crossover function is governed by randomness, there is no way to guarantee that we won't destroy our best solutions, and that's where the process elitism comes in. Elitism comes in by selecting any top solution and just copy them to the next generation. We will just keep our top two the next step of the evolution, and this is what we call the mutation. It helps to discover nude solutions that burn otherwise possible with the gene pool restarted. During the mutation, we simply change a random bit of the genome with a certain new bit, and this algorithm loops as no satisfying that has been found for a maximum number of generations. With this knowledge in mind, let's see what builds the process. First, genetic representation of a solution. Second, a function to generate new solutions. Third, a fitness function to evaluate the solutions. Fourth, selection functions to select the solutions to generate the next generation. Fifth, the crossover function, and lastly, the mutation function. Each of these are totally different from what we use today. Some problems have solutions that can't be expressed with the strings of 1 and 0, but need an array of integer or floating point values. Some genetic algorithm even uses graph to express their solution. Sometimes, a single point crossover is not enough and you want to cross over multiple times and maybe with different parents. Now, this has shown to increase the quality of generated solution. They are quite fascinating and has a field of application to use from as well. They are really good in approximating solutions, hard combinatorial problems like scheduling or timetable problems. But they are also really used to simulate evolution. With everything great, there's also limitations. The obvious one with genetic algorithm is the runtime of the fitness function. If you need a long time to evaluate the fitness of the solution, it really takes a long time to generate solutions for the next generation, and therefore, generating a good solution will take much more longer. Now, enough more of that. To discuss the code, I'll pass on the mic to my partner, Adrian Abelarde.
Thank you, Joshua. I'm Adrian Angelo de Abelarde, and I will show you guys how we implemented genetic algorithm using an Excel. As we can see here on the screen, we can see we have two variables, which is X and Y, a fitness score, which is going to act as our fitness function. And if we look at the equation, it basically gets the minimum value and the maximum value of X and Y. Now we have here parent 1 and parent 2, new child X and new child Y. We also mimic the mutation by changing the 1 values that we got here in our randomized numbers. We'll randomize numbers using a dice. So if we try to, let me just delete this. So if we try to randomize numbers here, as we can see, it randomizes just like a dice, which is a 1, 2, 6 values only. Just like a dice, as you can see here, we only have 1 to 6 values. Also the same with parents. We randomize it, but here in parent, as you can see, they are separated with comma because there are two values here in a parent 1 and a parent 2. Let's see how we are going to populate for the generation 1. Okay, so let's randomize. We got these values. Fitness score, as you can see, already calculated the average of all fitness score. Now, we're going to randomize our parents. As you can see here in these values, there are no repeating values. Let's say, for example, if you try to find 31 in other cell, there are no 31 for the demonstration. We are going to use unique values for the parents. Okay, going to randomize. Let's say, for example, we're going to use this one. Now, for the new child X and new child Y, for the new child X, we got 6. How did we get this value of 6? So let's say, for example, this cell corresponds to this cell. X is corresponds to the parent one. So 2 and 4, we have 2 and 4, right? So let's find, the meaning of this is we're going to find the row 2 and the row 4. And we're going to compare it. If row 2 is lower than 4, or just basically we're getting the lowest value here. Now, since both of these fitness score are the same, let's try to randomize again. Just basically show you guys how it works. Some random values. And let's say 6, 1. Okay, we have a different values here of fitness score. As you can see, 6 and 1, the lowest value is the first row, of course. The reason why we got a 6 here, we basically get the value of 6 from the X value of this fitness score. We're going to put this X value right into the new child X. And that's basically how it works. For the parent 2, just like what we did earlier, 1 and 4. So automatically, 1 is the lowest. We're going to get the value of Y, which is equals to 2. And the value of new child Y is equals to our Y variable. Okay. And the same thing with 6 and 2. 16 and 10. This is the lowest. We get the X values. And we will do the same thing over and over again. That's how our parent selection works. After that, we're going to mimic the mutation. We're going to copy and paste this, or basically just use this button. It will copy paste it for us. We're going to roll numbers, and as you can see, in the column Q and R, we get a 1. It will highlight it for us, meaning the highlighted cell, we will roll it again. So let's try this one, and roll the highlighted cell. It will check if this highlighted cell is equals to this cell. If not, we will maintain it, okay? Since 2 isn't equals to 4, we will maintain it. It will remain. And then after that, we will combine it with the new child Y and the new child X. So let's mutate it. So you can see 4 is now appended here on the cell. Now that's basically how it works. We can put 1 here, get the average, and find the lowest fitness score and get its X and Y variable and put it here in the best result X and best result Y. We have a new population for the next generation, which is the generation 2. Okay, let me just copy and paste the values on. Here we go. Now we have 15, right? So as we go through or traverse each generation, we will arrive at an optimized solution. So we're just going to copy and paste this here, or we can basically get new generation. Okay, as you can see here, our average is now much lower. And then randomize. As you can see, we still need to randomize just to be sure. Okay, and then select our parent. This is our new child X and new child Y. We're going to get the children. As you can see, get children, roll number, we roll all values of 1 and we roll if it is the same and then combine it. Now we have a newly generated population for the next generation. We're going to get this lowest fitness score and put it here in the best result X and best result Y. Now for the third generation, get new generation. It is now low. Randomize again. Parent selection, get children, the roll number 1, the roll values of 1. Is it same? No, it will maintain, and then combine it. So that's how basically it works. That's basically it, guys. As you can see, it took me 32 generation just for me to arrive on an optimized solution. Maybe around 1 to 0 is actually a pretty good score or an average here. But most of the time, if you'll see at the end of this, we're arriving at 6-1. It's just a matter of a mutation rate. I think mutation rate here is too high because if we divide 1 by 6, we have a mutation rate of 16%. Such a huge percentage for this because mostly mutation rate is somehow 0.01, 1%, something like that, 10%, but 16 I think is too high already. But that's why we arrived too late on the optimized solution. Because if we look at, say for example, let's use this again. We get the children and roll the numbers. There's a lot of changes already in our mutation. So yeah, that's basically how it works for genetic algorithm. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you guys learned something about this. So this is an optimization method, and yes, that's basically it.
Thank you, Joshua. Hi, I'm Adrian Angelo de Abelarde, and this is the implementation of genetic algorithm in our programming language. The breast cancer dataset is a well-known dataset used to classify whether a breast cancer tumor is benign or malignant. The breast cancer dataset used in this code is sourced from Scikit-learn libraries datasets module. And now, we're going to tackle how we implemented this in code. First, we need to load the necessary libraries and of course, the script sources to additional R files, which is the fitness function and the auxiliary function. This file contains the custom function used in the script, which is these two. And then we also have here the cancer dataset. It is loaded from a CSV file and the label column is converted to a factor. And in this context, B benign and M for malignant. Benign tumors are non-invasive and unlikely to spread to other parts of the body, while malignant tumors are more aggressive and more likely to spread. And we also have here the cancer features data frame. It contains all of the columns from the cancer data frame except for the label column, while the cancer label only has the label column, which is selected using the select function. While we also have here the param and bits variable, it is used to specify the number of variables to include in the GA, while call names is used to specify the names of the variables to include in the GA, while tick and talk is used to measure the time it takes to run the GA. And then GA feature selection, this is our function. So as you can see here, it accepts different parameters, which is the fitness, crossover method, optimization data type. We have here also the elitism, which is set to 3, and so on and so forth. This is our reproducibility, which is set to 8888. Closing it with talk, getting the summary of the GA. We have here the variables selected by the GA are stored in the best vars GA and printed. This get train test partition is used to split the data into training and test sets and store the result in a partition. And second to the last, the get performance metrics function is used again to calculate and print the performance metrics for a model trained on all the variables. And lastly, of course, we're going to plot it using the plot function. Now, inside the fitness function, we have here our fitness score function. The fitness score function is a custom function that is used to evaluate the performance of machine learning model. So, of course, it takes in several arguments, which is the vars, a binary vector, features, a data frame of features, target, our label, sampling probability, metrics, and we have here metrics set to ROC. What is ROC? It is receiver operating characteristic. And in the function, first, it checks first if sampling probability is specified. If this and then random sample of the data is taken using the sample function. And then the function then keeps only the variables that were selected by the GA algorithm by subsetting the features data frame, as you can see here. And then training and test it using 820 split. Finally, the function uses the get performance metrics function to get the performance of machine learning model trained on the training set and tested on the test set. The fitness value will be the highest accuracy value divided by the number of features used. And we also have here another function which is the get performance. We're getting the performance metrics. So, function is a custom function that is used to evaluate the performance of machine learning model. And we have here a method of city, number, which is set to 10. Of course, we're using the caret package for machine learning. Summary function, and class props. And it then trains a random forest model using the train function from the caret package. So here, we are training the model using the random forest. And then the function then makes prediction on the test set using the train model and calculates the accuracy by comparing the prediction to the actual labels. The accuracy is then returned as the performance metric. Now, inside the auxiliary functions, we have here the getTrain test partition. What does this do? The getTrain test partition function is a custom function that is used to split a dataset into training set and a test set. Of course, it takes three arguments, which is the feature, target, and training size that is set to 0.8. The function first combines a feature and target data frames using the bind calls function from the dplyr package. And then it uses the sample function to randomly select a subset for the training set. Now, create the training set. This one, remove the training set from the original dataset. And lastly, we have here the function return a list containing the training and test sets. And yeah, that's it for our implementation. So as you can see here, I've run the code, and at the end of the output, we can see here the GA function running, which is the GA feature selection. And I've set the max iteration to 20, and the max iteration without improvement to 5. Now, it ran for about 8 iterations, and as you can see, this is the solution, fitness function value, and we have here the best vars GA, the get performance metrics, and the another get performance metric. We have here the output, which is the PNG file. It output a PNG file that looks like this. The line is going up, so which means we have a good indicator of fitness value through generations.